All right, y'all, we're going to head back to Rockport, Texas, back home. Thank you, Corpus Christi. I come and take what I need and I get the hell out of here. Now leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here. Um, yeah, so I also stopped at this little craft pot shop. For those of you that don't know, if you go to the right store in Texas, they have what they call the highs, which is still the THCA Delta 9, like it's the hemp plant. But if you go to the right places, these guys actually have real stuff. They grow the right strains. They're still hemp strains, but they grow them to a much higher percentage content, and then they cure it long after the testing has been done. So they get it pretty damn potent for what's legal here in Texas. And they've got dabs and waxes, shatters, all the same shit too. Anyway, but don't get the stuff at the vape stores or the gas stations or whatever. That's industrial diseased hemp and products coming from states with no regulation, or Mexico, or what the hell ever they're sneaking in. And this guy was telling me, he made a really good point that Texas doesn't want to do like what Colorado and California and everybody did. It creates too much bureaucracy and red tape, and it cuts out the mom and pop growers and dispensaries, because you just get these giant investment firms coming in and buying up all the farms and all the dispensaries, and they go high production and the quality goes down. And he said here they kind of want to keep it like the Wild West, and the cops and the state don't care. They're pushing for decriminalization so they can clean up the court docket and free up the cops. And so what he said they're doing is the private growers are pushing back in Texas, fighting their right to come at it more along the lines of a cottage industry, where it's mom and pop farmers and small business owners that set the standard and tone and regulation, instead of money and corporations. And then of course there's always the taxation. Like Colorado makes billions a year on pot tax, and they put it in the schools and parks, and you can visibly see that. Anyway, that's for those of you that might care about that kind of stuff. Because honestly, and then we can have that conversation. Like, do you think cannabis use is acceptable as a part of, or during, or can you consider yourself to be healing and still use cannabis? Yeah, my answer is yes, but with very low usage and very high intent of that usage, like spiritual openness and creative blockages, and I like emergency nervous system suppression. Like, you literally have no other way to keep yourself from having a panic attack, then it's legit medicine. And the older I get, I used to smoke weed every day, I tried it a few times, like 16 and 17. By the time I was 18, I was smoking weed every day. And I smoked weed every day and almost every day of my life, unless I had like drug tests or probation or something. I smoked weed every day of my life until I was 40. I was 40, almost 41. I met my now wife, and she didn't smoke at all. She likes to drink. And it was like weed was boring, alone, and pointless. So I stopped smoking weed until like a year ago. So, like 4 years, I stopped smoking weed, and I was still drinking though. And that's the problem. And the solution was stopping drinking. That's another story. But weed, like, so if from a coaching perspective you were asked, like, does how does weed serve you by still holding on to it, and how would you have done anything differently in your past regarding weed? um, Regarding my past usage of cannabis, if I could tell my younger self something, it would be use a lot less and use it more wisely. There's a Wu-Tang lyric, I think it's Jizza. I don't remember. I think or Inspector Deck, and he says, "For no longer than necessary, blunts is your weapon." And that stuck with me. That is like, you only need it for those times when you need it. It is medicine. It should not be recreationally available to anyone to just get it. It's powerful plant medicine. It can help you with blockages, awakenings. For a non-user cannabis in the beginning, I could guide somebody through cannabis usage that would be almost akin to a small mushroom dose. It's medicine. It's plant medicine. And so during healing, you have to really, really be careful that you just don't get into a habit of using cannabis, because nobody that's growth oriented can cling to or create habits that are negative for your health. Smoking is bad no matter what. It's terrible for your lungs. Like, absolutely terrible for your lungs. And weed makes you like okay with everything. So yeah, you can like, oh, I'm doing really good. I'm figuring shit out and everything like this. But you put off acting immediately because you're just like because everything is there and you're okay with it. It's a level of content that keeps you like almost kind of like sedated, because you're supposed to feel like when we're healing. Like, I cried all morning on my drive to the city. Like, when you're healing, you know it, because you start feeling emotions. You become overwhelmed with them. You have all those feelings, and you're supposed to. That's what makes you human. It's when you store them up inside, numb them, and dull them with substances that you leads to illness. Um, so cannabis use during healing needs to be addressed as plant medicine, and used very, very wisely and sparingly. And let it speak to you and guide you, the same as all plant medicine. Don't try to control it. Don't try to use it all the time. And, oh, I had a breakthrough, I need more weed. No, because then your system is getting used to the weed, and you're suppressing your neurons and your brain chemistry too much. You need breaks in between that stuff. Um, I'm going over the bridge right now. I don't know. I can't turn around the camera once it's recording, so I would turn it around and show you guys I'm going over the bridge, the big new Corpus Christi bridge, and, well, you saw it in the video probably going behind me. So yeah, I mean, like anything, you have to have the right relationship with something. what I learned about alcohol was like after my first 90 days of sobriety, I was still fucking miserable. Like zero joy, zero gratitude. Everything is still everybody else's fault because it's just like there's no peace. It's just fucking noisy and loud. And well, it's because you didn't change yourself. You didn't change your habits. You weren't doing new things yet to fill that time. You weren't getting healthy and fit yet so that your body and your liver and your brain can heal. So again, like healing is a mindset like anything else. So when you establish that mindset and what you're going to do and you start the process, you're changing your habits, your people automatically change, the places you go change, and you have to change your attitude and relationships towards things. Like, so alcohol is not a part of my life. I don't think about it. I don't crave it anymore. I'm so far past that point. I'm not angry or resentful towards it anymore. I'm not like, hey, we can still hang out and play around a little bit. I can use you responsibly because you're still a good old buddy of mine. No, like any relationship, any attitude that you ever had toward anything, like attachments, this is the bigger, we'll talk about attachments sometime. Like any relationship or attitude you had towards something has to change or it won't change. So now I look at alcohol like it's stupid. Obviously, it's the dumbest drug ever invented. Does it have a purpose? Not really. A place? Not really. I mean, we celebrate and dull every good moment in our lives with this shit, and you feel for it the next day. And now I'm so clean and sober and working on fitness and growth that if I have a couple, which I have, it's like you get to the second and third one and you instantly know what can happen. It's like either you got to keep going and have the good time and have the fun because there's no point in stopping, and then you're like, the next day I'm gonna feel like shit, and you set yourself back a day or more in progress of your growth and healing because it's not the next day. The next day, even if there is a mild hangover, is manageable because there's still enough alcohol content in your blood that you get through that day and you're not irritable. You're still. It's days 2 and 3 after drinking. I believe they used to call it like Suicide Tuesday, where it's the nervous system shot and you're still detoxing the byproducts of the breaking down of the alcohol, and that's when the irritability and the anxiety and all you start to feel and see parts of your old self and the way you were thinking just from one little episode, from one time of going out and having a few drinks. So now I have this relationship with it where I'm like, I don't need you, I don't want you. If my wife wants to celebrate something like the birth of our son coming up in July, I can say no and not anyone be offended, or I now have the ability in me to say, that's fine, we'll have that 2 or 3. I'll get sober before I go to bed that night, lay my head down, and not feel terrible for the next 3 days. And never think about drinking again for another year. I mean, the relationship, the mentality I have with it right now is that if my wife came to me and said, look, I'm changing my habit with you, I no longer want to partake in alcohol, even for celebration or with my friends or family or anything, and I'm going to ride that with you, how long can you do it? I'm already over a year into this that I could safely say right now, look at you in the camera and say, I can go the rest of my life and never have another drink. My point is that, though, my perception and my ability to have a relationship with it now where I don't let it affect me and I can have a celebration once or twice a year and it never derail my system, my agenda of growth, which takes till the end, till you can't anymore, that alcohol is powerless. It's powerless over me. It no longer has power over me. And so that's back to cannabis, the same thing you need to think about it. Just don't give it power over you. Don't let it control who you are. Don't let it be your only source of joy and gratitude and relaxation and all that, because when the weed wears off, it's not that there's no hangover, it's that the nervous system is tired, the body's tired because it was processing a chemical, and there is residual long-term side effects. And so that's my view on cannabis, and just part of my experience with alcohol. I will do lots of episodes and shorts and live streams where we talk a lot about the alcohol and the healing journey and what it took for me to beat that. I had consumed alcohol at a rate of little to moderate or extreme daily drinking since the age of 23 to 45, in 22 years. And a majority of that was spent drinking every day. Like, not get up and start drinking. Like, get up, get your kids to school, take care of your mom, do the chores, run the errands, high level functioning, financially, socially, but like inside and the mind and the life, fucking chaotic for 23 years. And I consciously made the decision to change and start to heal and grow last February, so 13 months ago. And then it took me 6 months of that first 13 months to change my relationship and heal from the psychological attachment of alcohol. That took 6 months. And 2 small relapses around my birthday, Father's Day, and the World Series. I don't know what was going on. My wife and I weren't getting along. I was staying over at the cottage for a few nights and getting that last fuck you angry drink out and watching baseball or some shit and sleeping in the guest room. And then since then, since the World Series, October of 25, I really only got drunk once, and that was when my son came to visit at Christmas. And I haven't, and then so then no drinking other than that. Like, so since the world, November, December, January, February, March, April. April will be 6 months with a whole new attitude and relationship, and not drinking, other than those 2 times in 6 months. So it's all about mindset and changing your habits and changing your relationship and attachment to things. That's where the real work comes in, and that's what separates the 1% of the population that is 100% growth oriented. There's no room anymore in my soul, in my body, in my nervous system, in my mind, in my life. There's no room for anybody taking time or energy from me that isn't open-minded, growth-minded, and understand the concepts of working on their best self. There's no more relationships where I have to shrink myself to fill the needs of others and seek validation or anything like that. These are the concepts where true awakening and true healing take place. Until a level of self-awareness hits you that your reality. Every single breath you take, every moment that you're alive, how you experience it, how you feel, the whole experience and what you call life is only a product of your thoughts and what's going on in your mind. You can't blame the system. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame being poor. You can't blame alcohol or your girlfriend or your boss or anything other than yourself, because you created your own reality by thinking and living and doing what you come up with in your own mind. And the power comes that when you realize that you have the power to take it all back and make a change. And the first thing you do is you forgive yourself for how terrible you were to yourself. And as soon as you do that, the weight comes off of you. Your mind shifts and your body can begin to heal. You take full accountability and ownership of your mind, body, and soul, and you commit to making a change, to being better to yourself. Liberate your soul and live free from the constraints of the man-made construct system, and you can begin to heal. And that's all you need to know. And there are people out here like myself who are unlocking these secrets, finding their potential, and we're here to help. We want to talk to you. We want to have these conversations. We're going to do the live streams. We're going to have the coaching set up, the fitness and nutrition, the diet, the cooking, the sound healing, tuning forks, bowls, gongs, you name it. We're going to start to heal. And we're going to teach you how to live a better, more productive life full of meaning and purpose, true connection and good relationships that empower you to want to be a better person for yourself so that you can be there to actually help other people from a place of love, compassion, joy, gratitude, and be in creation mode, not in fight or flight, not in survival. That's the goal of Ascension Theory Coaching Studio. We're going to empower you to be your best self because I've been there with you and I will walk you through this. Because you're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of us out there and we're put in strategic places and we're finding our way to reach the people that need to hear us. Don't ever forget you're not alone. There are people hurting everywhere. And instead of acknowledging that we live in a world of suffering, we need to acknowledge that we need to live and create a world where we're overcoming suffering and hardship. We all are the same with just different perspectives from different experiences. Stop thinking we're different. Be curious about people, ask questions, and listen with an open, compassionate ear and heart. because there's just somebody that needs to say one thing and get it off their chest so that they can start their healing journey. Just listen. Just be there to listen to people. Like, really listen. Actively listen. Eyes, ears, body language, and the unspoken energy of what someone's trying to say. Because everybody has something, and everybody feels like they're not being heard and seen, and it's fracturing across society and the family and the whole world. So here we are. That guy just was gonna change lanes into my car. Like, he wanted my lane, and I had to go off the road a little bit. Thank God he saw me. And so that means it's time to wrap this up, folks. And, you know, if you've listened this far, then this is the content for you, and you have found a safe home and a safe place, and we're going to do big things together. I'm going to guide you and walk you through everything that I've learned in 30 years, 32, 33 years of living with trauma. Illuminati confirmed, 33. 33 years of living in survival mode with trauma, pain, grief, loss, addiction, and just being the biggest piece of shit that I think a person could be. And I'm doing it. I'm real life living change. Lost the weight, healed the gut, healing the body, healing the mind, and healing the soul, all at the same time with transformative healing and growth coaching. And I'm a whole new person. I don't even, when I think about myself, I can't really even comprehend the person I was before I started this coaching school. Because I felt good up to that point. I knew what I was doing, what direction I was going. But now, learning, living, and being the change, I can't stress enough how good it feels when you start to accomplish the goals and build the new habits and live from the perspective, that first person perspective of living in the life that you wanted, that you're creating. There's a word, there's a feeling for that. I can't remember scientifically. But when you achieve and feel the feelings that you sought out to create, it's probably one of the most rewarding feelings that you can ever have. So I'll leave you on that, because that's an extremely motivational thought. When you live and achieve the dreams is the highest high of any high you can ever achieve in life. So, Ascension Theory Coaching Studio will be an online thing and will be eventually a physical brick and mortar with a sound studio and a gym and a nutrition lab. And we're going to tie all these concepts together. We're going to bring it to the masses, and we're going to heal people. Eventually get into spiritual reset retreats. Full packages, full healing packages for people. So if you're here and you want to keep following this journey, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and share, because I want to help everyone ascend to their highest selves, because that's our purpose here on earth. getting close to home, guys. Have a good day. Peace out. Ascend up always.